Hey y'all, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna Keshell, and today we are going to be setting up my February bullet journal. Now, if you have not seen the setup where I set those lemon pages up with that beautiful blue, those gorgeous yellows, and that theme right there, then please go check out my video for my new bullet journal setup where I completed that back in September around my birthday. Now for this month, we are going with the romantic reds, Valentine's Day, soft glamour, love notes and letters. We're going with that theme for this month. I was torn between doing that theme or Black History Month just because those go hand in hand for February for me. And it was definitely hard to choose one, but this one won out. I'm not sure why. I can't even give you guys a good enough reason except, I don't know. I went on Pinterest and these were the pictures that I was drawn to for this month. So we're going to start by putting down some paper to build our collage. I've gotten this out of a paper pack with 48 sheets of 12 by 12 inch paper. I used my cutting board, as you saw, to cut them. And then once I get them into my journal, I cut around them using my scissors and the edge of my paper. I haven't gotten to the point where I just measure them and cut out the paper based on the measurements needed. Maybe I should grow up and do that, but I'm not there yet. I just slap them down and then just cut around it. So it works for me and I'm just going to keep on doing it. Now I'm going to start building this collage. Like I said, no real rhyme or reason for it, but I will say this. I had a really fun time doing this collage, but it took so long. You know, when you're out of practice with doing something and it just takes you a little bit of time to get back into the groove of things, that's how it is with me in this collage. And I feel like I say that every single video, but I really felt it with this one. I was second guessing where I would put things. I was ripping some of the paper too deeply, or I was taking off too much of the design, or just not being confident in where I wanted things to go. I was forgetting some elements like washi tape and my gold gel pen that I forgot to use. But all in all, I am excited about how it turned out. I did have a lot of different elements that I enjoyed using, but when it comes down to it, that's all that matters. I just want to have fun, create, put my hands on paper and enjoy what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out this February title, the heading. Also printed this out. A lot of my spreads for this month are going to be printouts. I'm not really drawing or writing a lot because one of the things I said that I was going to do this year, especially in my journal, is to start using more textures. However, as you guys are going to see, spoiler alert, I didn't use any textures for this month. I used them for February and I completely forgot for this month. But the point is, the thought was there, the intention was there. So that's why I am not really writing or drawing or hand lettering much at all in this spread. And honestly, with that being said, that gives me a wider range of things that I can use for a theme. For instance, I probably would not have been able to draw this woman as beautifully as it is without it taking a good amount of time. I probably would have been able to draw the bow, but it would not have popped off the paper as much or as well once I laid down the paper, the background for this spread. It wouldn't have looked the same. So I am very grateful that I am able to print these things off, and I just like to go back and forth from drawing to collaging. And sometimes we do both in the same spread. But today is all about a collage. So as you saw, I cut all of these little things out. I have this piece of paper with handwriting on it. It looks like it could have been a letter as a background for the woman. Of course, she came from Pinterest, and I tried to cut around her beautiful fro and her hat and get as close as I could without cutting any of her coils off, but also leaving just a little bit of space around her as a halo, so it could be a buffer between her and the background that I used, which is that letter. I think that's what that is, the black and white on the background. I cut out some of these little kissy faces, like little smooches, and I also left a little bit of white space around those as well so that they would pop off of the busy background that I chose. I did cut out that ribbon, and it was so difficult to cut out, I forgot to leave a little space around it. So I did the same with the word February. And the good thing about the good thing about typing this out and printing it off is that I could write something similar to this, but this gives it a different look. Like when I write and I do my hand lettering, it doesn't look like this. So I am really excited to put this into my journal. So I put it on a tan neutral background to give this another element, some more texture. And I cut that out as well. Now I'm showing you here that I cut those candles out. I was having some technical difficulties, so I did that off camera, but it was another piece of paper from my paper pack, and I just cut those candles off. I didn't really like the background that much anyway, so it worked out. Now I'm just cutting out a piece of bullet journal paper because I was going to use that for the calendar, but since I don't use my bullet journal to plan, I know if you're new here, that might sound weird, but since I don't use my bullet journal to plan, I don't really need the calendar right there anyway. So I decided to do something else with that piece of paper, but we're going to go ahead and lay down these elements of some of that paper from the previous page. We're going to glue down these candles, and then we are going to glue down that piece of bullet journal paper. Actually, we're going to put that piece of bullet journal paper on a background first, and then we're going to angle it. We're going to sneak it up under that candle, and then we're going to glue it down. Now, being completely honest, I have no idea what I'm going to use that space for anymore because, like I said, it was going to be a calendar and I decided against that. Then I thought about putting my goals on that paper, but I don't like my goals on my cover page. I actually like for my goals to go where my habits are, and we're about to do that spread right now. So instead of those things, I was thinking either a quote from my favorite book, my favorite Bible scripture, or a prayer. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. What should I put on that page right there in that blank spot? Give me something real good in the comments. Now, like I said, we are going to be doing my spreads for my goals and my habits. I like for my goals and my habits to be right next to each other because somewhere along the line of journaling, that just made sense to me. Since I have habits, since I have goals that I'm trying to reach, then my habits that I do every single day should be in line with those goals. Meaning what I work on every single day should essentially get me towards those goals. Maybe I will achieve them, maybe I won't, because some goals are action oriented. Some of them are just based on like the finished product. There is a goal to have X amount of subscribers or X amount of that's a good one, but I can't control how many subscribers I have. What I can control is how often I post content, how often I create, how often I am doing the things. That's all I can control. So some of these goals are not actually reflective through the habits, but some of them are. I said all of that to say they go on the same page. So I went ahead and glued down some more paper from my paper pack, and I created 2 Dutch doors. Don't get too attached to those because they will be leaving soon. We mess up that spread phenomenally, okay, in just a few minutes. But I'm going to use these cute little cutouts. They're like the heart-shaped candy cutout looking things. Looking pictures, and they have letters on them. So I'm going to use the letters to spell the word goals. And then I'm going to also use my lettering that I printed out for the word February. And we're just going to arrange those on this page. Now, the way that I want to do these goals, I'm going to leave a blank spot at the bottom as well so I can go in and fill my goals in. I usually do about 3 or 4 goals per month. So once I have those letters cut out in their heart shapes, I'm going to lay them across this tan neutral color that I've been using throughout all of my spreads. And I'm going to use this again as a background to give the spread a little bit more texture. Okay. So I'm going to glue them on, and instead of trying to cut them out in that heart shape because that takes a lot of time, and I have to be very precise so that it can actually look like a heart. And I wasn't really doing it the best to begin with. I just went ahead and cut them out in squares, and we're just going to use the squares instead. So I'm going to arrange these in a cute little fun way, and I'm going to also cut out another font for February, or I'm going to cut out another one of these February fonts, and I'm going to use that on the page as well. Now, as you can see, you may have been able to tell that I am enjoying the patterns for this month. So I printed out this beautiful pink zebra print pattern, and I used this as the background for the word February for this spread. However, since the pattern is so large and the print is so large, you can't really tell that it's a zebra print under the word February. It just kind of looks like stripes. I'm okay with that because that print is going to come back just a little bit later. So I arranged all of that on the spread, and like I said, I'm going to leave that room down at the bottom blank for my goals. I'm going to write them down and then glue those in. Now I wanted to do a gingham pattern right here. However, I chose to use one of my old Cali art markers. I don't know what made me choose to start using that marker, but I tested it out on another sheet of paper and it tricked me. It looked like it was going to make it through this spread, and it did not. So you could tell that this marker was drying out. The lines were screwed up. It was not cute, okay? And then the lines weren't even thick enough to fill up an entire bullet journal space. Not cute. So once I decided that, okay, I can't have that looking crazy in my bullet journal, I said, you know what? We're going to cover everything up. We are just going to paste in paper on every single page. So that first page was the tan color. The last page, you saw me glue in that zebra print on the last Dutch door on the back. And now I'm going to be gluing in this beautiful paper with the roses on it, or if these aren't roses, but these pretty flowers and pinks and reds. I'm going to use both of these in the double spread because I have enough paper to do so. So now that I have successfully glued down all of this paper, I need to cut it all off because, like I just said, I don't measure this paper. I feel like it would take way too much time to measure the paper to the correct bullet journal size. I'm not sure. Y'all, I'm struggling enough as it is to get on camera and record my bullet journal. I don't need another hindrance, okay? So I slap those papers down, glue them down, cut them out, and it's gonna look fantastic, okay? Now, I will say that the zebra print, I chose to put on there that black and tan zebra print washi tape that I used on the first Dutch door. That was definitely a choice, and I'm still trying to figure out if I like it or not. What do y'all think? That right there? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I like her or not. But next thing I'm going to do is glue down my calendars for the habit trackers. This is another reason why I am excited about the collaging, because I know that I can print off some rectangles for my calendars, for my habits, and I'll be just fine. I don't have to stress about leaving room or leaving the bullet journal paper space to draw in the calendars when I have them printed out. I skipped past that because all I did, y'all, was go on Google Docs, create a very small table, and since February this year is a perfect rectangle, a 7x4 rectangle, I just did that, printed them out, and glued them down. It works amazingly. So at the end, you'll see my final flip through. I have about 15 habits so far, and I may add some more, but we'll see. Now, this last page is going to be our final collage, and I'm going to use this for pictures or memories, or maybe I'll come back and put maybe my favorite book of the month here. I'm not sure, but I needed this spread because I've already chosen the books that I want to read for my next video. My bullet journal made me read these books. That's not a good name. I'm still working the name out. But the point is, I am reading books based on the themes in my bullet journal. And I have already chosen these books. So you're going to have to see what elements I chose to go with and what books I chose to read in my next reading vlog and my next book video. But just know, girl, I needed that spread right there. I needed that collage to work out, and it did. Lastly, we are going to do a summary or a month review page. Now, as I said earlier, I do not use my bullet journal to plan. However, I am going to start doing my monthly reviews, my maybe bi-weekly checkups in this journal, because I also have another journal that I write in every single night. So I'm going to use this journal to do some reflection over the themes I see over those days where I'm just free writing or doing my morning pages or basically using that diary. I'm going to use this space to reflect on it and do some journaling and help myself actually grow through the patterns that I'm seeing, if that makes sense. Sometimes, or I used to use my bullet journal as a daily writing journal, but sometimes it got a little complicated. So now we're just going to see how this setup works. Okay. Now here's the final flip through of my February bullet journal. I love how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.